In this quick video, we're going to be taking a look at the incredible infographics you can produce with Google Gemini and some ways that it'll support learning in your space. So we are in Gemini now, and I'm just going to showcase a handful of different prompts that might give you an idea of some things that you could create in Google Gemini in terms of infographics that can be really useful for you in different ways. This first one is going to be all about something that I might want to create and then print as a poster in one of our dream centers. A few tricks with this. You're going to write your prompt to describe what you want in your infographic, but two things that will give you the best output quality anytime you're wanting to do this. Thing one, choose the tools drop down and select create image. Thing two, make sure you're not on fast mode. If you switch to thinking mode here, it will give you the most pro quality infographic, and it will do better with text creation as well. So I'm going to submit this real quick and we'll give it a chance to process. And I'll pause our video until that's made. So you can see it's created our first infographic, and I'll just read you my prompt. I said to create a high fidelity vertical infographic called Our Classroom Commitments and use a paper cutout visual style with bright primary colors. I gave it the 5 sections to include, and each sentence I asked for a short sentence explaining why that's important. It followed the directions. I also gave it a size constraint, so 24 by 36 inch poster. It followed my size constraint, and you can see it did a really nice job of bringing that to life, turned it into a really beautiful image. I'm going to add another prompt here, and you can kind of see another use case. So this use case, I was asking for an executive summary with a few key data points that I wanted to point out, and you can see it does a nice job of that. I also gave it a few color constraints that I wanted to weave in. My advice is give your general idea to Gemini and ask it to help you write your prompt for your infographic. So some of the things that were added into this really made it a much better prompt, and that's because I sought advice or feedback from Gemini in my prompt writing. Also, another thing to point out with this is you can tell it how you're planning to use it. In the first one, I told it I wanted it to be for a poster, and you can see I got that poster layout. This, I said I wanted an infographic for an email. It kind of changes what you're going to end up getting. Here comes our next example. In this example, you can see it's talking about kind of the journey of a persuasive essay. So this is an example of how you could use this to get key elements that you want to point out to your students or learners or staff members, whoever your target audience is. But this kind of goes through a pathway or journey of brainstorming, researching evidence, drafting, peer review, and then publishing your persuasive essay. So we gave some character themes that we wanted. We also gave some styling ideas. Basically, the limit to this is your own creativity. So a few things to consider when writing a great prompt for an infographic. Thing one, give it a style that you would like to elevate or emphasize. You can see it can do storybook type styles, professional looking. So tell it the style you want. The more detailed you get with the content that you'd like to see, the better it will do. 6 months ago, it would do a terrible job with text. That is just not the case anymore. So you can get exactly the text that you want to be included. And if you have specific ideas for layout, sizing, or what your final product needs to look like, make sure you include those size constraints as well, because it's doing a great job of making sure that it gives you what you need. For example, if you want it to be an image that's used in slides, tell it that, and it will make sure that it will fit nicely onto your slides. Hope this is helpful. Hope that you find lots of ways to use infographics either to teach others or to share information. Really, really powerful skill to have in your toolbox. Have a great day.